Welcome, everyone. This is WXUT 88.3, Toledo's only alternative, and this is AJ with the Plexi Film Show. And today, I have a guest. Say your name, guest.
Hello, this is Quinn Cooper, here to be the special guest of tonight.
And today we're going to be talking about Donnie Darko. Are you excited for this film?
I sure am. It wouldn't be the first time I watched it, but yes.
All right. I do have one request, though, real quick.
Okay.
Because I forgot to ask you. Can you please turn off the fan real quick?
I most certainly can.
Thank you. My bad. It is really hot in the studio for sure, so that's why we usually have the fan on, and I completely forgot to turn it off. But anywho, welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about Donnie Darko. And if you do not know, Donnie Darko is... Let me pull up the synopsis real quick. Donnie Darko, during the presidential election of 1988, a teenager named Donnie Darko sleepwalks out of his house one night and sees a giant demonic-looking rabbit named Frank, which tells him that the world's going to end in 28 days. When Donnie returns home, he finds that a jet engine has crashed into his bedroom. Is Donnie living in a parallel universe? Is he suffering from mental illness, or will the world really end? So that's the description of the movie. So yeah. How would you rate this movie, by the way?
Definitely, if you are a first-time watcher, I'll have to say it's going to be a bit more confusing to fully understand. But if you were to watch it a second time, you'll definitely be able to appreciate the movie a lot more. I know, especially with my first time watching it, I'll definitely say it's like around a 7 out of 10. But definitely watching it the second time, I have to give like a 9 out of 10.
Oh, hell yeah. I was about to say, I'm kind of the same way. Like, I don't, it is really confusing at first, but even when my first time watching it, I already watched theory videos right after it. So I already like, because I'm a nerd when it comes to films. I'll be honest with you. If I'm very interested in something, I will find more about it.
Right.
So, I mean, I still find some more stuff that I didn't see the first time that I watched it. I think in total, I've already watched it since the first time, which was last year, by the way. I think last semester or the semester before. I don't remember anymore.
Yeah. It definitely was last year.
Last year. I've already watched it 5 times. This time was my 6th time watching it.
Oh boy, this would only be my 2nd time.
So ever since, like, I don't know, it's a good background movie. After watching it the first time, you don't have to watch it really much because it's all over the place.
Definitely.
And you still kind of hold the grasp of what the basic story is.
Oh yeah.
Because the whole basic story is just keeping himself alive.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I could see as well. But the first time I was kind of wondering if he's trying to combat like the future, his fate, especially with future characters such as Frank. I was really curious in like what was the whole premise the first time I was watching it. But it's definitely after watching it this first time, especially towards the end and knowing what was the conclusion of it, it's definitely going to be a lot more interesting and intriguing to see it.
Yeah, sorry. I blanked out for a second. But yeah, I agree. I would give the movie a total, I'd say 8.5 out of 10. 8.5, 9. I'd give it an 8.7 out of 10.
What would you say would be your most favorite part about the movie?
I don't know. I'd say ever since I did more research about it for this show, I think the coolest thing is that they shot this movie in 28 days.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
That's what makes it very, very cliche, and I find it really cool. They shot this whole movie in 28 days.
What?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I thought it would have been like your typical production of a film, like months upon months.
No, it's an independent film because I forget the cast list. Let me pull it up real quick.
All right. That's very intriguing. Typically, a lot of movies would be like months upon months, especially with marketing and like how you'd want to plan it out. Especially now, it's just very surprising.
But yeah, Drew Barrymore, the teacher, right? The female teacher. She helped produce the movie, and she's the one that helped finance this movie. Yes.
What?
Yeah, if it wasn't for her, this movie wouldn't like get like on big screen and all that.
She's the real MVP for this movie, huh?
For real, and I don't want to say she's not that important because she is very crucial to the story as well.
She's semi-important, yes.
She's definitely important to the story.
Oh, yeah. That actually surprised me a lot. Wow.
I don't think there's any character in the story that's not important besides the one kid at the end. But even then, he's still important.
I am kind of conflicted with one of the characters. Forgive me if I'm wrong about the name. Christine Chan. I forgot her name. The one lady that just kept on saying, like, be quiet or something over and over again. Like, the camera would always shoot over to her without her really having any big dialogue.
Are you talking about the teacher that was freaking out about the fear and love part?
No, I will be wanting to get into that. But it's one of the students, actually.
Are you talking about the one girl that had a crush on Donnie Darko?
I think so. I'm not too sure.
I was about to say she's the one that had like little mustard ears.
That's her. I was kind of conflicted by like what's her real premise of the whole thing because like she doesn't really have a lot of dialogue.
It's very interesting that you brought that up because there was this one video. I was going to write more about it, but I can easily memorize this part because it's just about Donnie's character. So it kind of just shows how friendly Donnie really is to people and how much of an impact he's made on to the people in his life.
Mm-hmm.
And sure, like, you know, he has Gretchen as his current girlfriend, right. But it just like, I feel like that crush part just kind of shows that he's really friendly to everyone. And he just tries to be as nice as possible and real as possible.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would definitely say he is mostly a lot more nicer than his other two friends, especially at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, for sure.
He does make some comments towards some teachers and administrative adults that he does go above and beyond in making raunchy comments about.
Donnie is really smart. I do have to say that.
He's incredibly smart. I'll give you that.
Freaking crazy smart.
I would say it's like honestly very surprising. He's like at like your standard high school, but at the same time.
It intrigues me because, you know, I don't want to say, but like in Hollywood standards, they would make someone that is like mentally ill stupid.
Oh, yeah.
So when like seeing this film, you don't expect him to be smart, but he's really smart that he figured out how to time travel himself. Like,
oh, yeah. I mean, especially at the very beginning of the movie, how it introduces Donnie just sleeping and just moping around a lot. You typically just think that he's just like a lazy student that just won't get a lot of work done. He's just keep it to himself. But as time goes on, like what you said, he learns about time travel and he goes to show he's a very smart character.
It's funny because that book, because I'm still like debating whether or not it's true or not. I think they made that book just for the film.
I guarantee it's from the film itself.
Because I looked up the book. You can buy the book, but the original book, like the actual book that it was made for the film, is expensive. But you can still buy that book. So I'm like, is it a real book or not? Like it's confusing to me if it is or not.
I guarantee it's based off like it's semi-fictional. Like it's definitely based off of something. Like it was. I mean, one part of the movie, the science teacher referenced Stephen Hawking talking about wormholes and stuff like that. I guarantee it's something based around there.
That's based on the real book.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It guarantees based off of something, but there's obviously creative differences from the actual book itself.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Sorry to cut you off there. What's your favorite character from the film?
I'm going to go with Donnie. It's simple. He has a lot of screen time, and I'd definitely say he's a clever, smart character. I just like watching.
I would say Gretchen, in my opinion.
Gretchen? Really?
Because even though she's confused, like, why is Donnie so concerned? But she cares so much about him and just goes along with it. Because she doesn't, like, she's not the stereotypical bad girlfriend. Oh, why are you doing this? Why are you controlling? She's not being controlled around. She's just like, oh, I need to understand what he's doing. He's doing this for a real purpose. Like, he's not just doing this for no random reason.
Right.
Yeah. Donnie's always had like a passion to go towards something, not just, oh, let's just do this random act for no reason. No, he has a mission. He has a thought of why he's doing it, not just let's do it.
Fair. I was kind of worried if, especially with when I watched it the first time, if Gretchen wanted to think of Donnie as a crazy guy. Because definitely how he presented himself as like an awkward, anxious dude that just didn't know what he wanted.
I mean, he's just a angsty, very anxiety teenager in high school. He's just that type of guy.
Yeah, definitely.
What was I gonna say?
I don't know.
One thing that still like makes me question is why is he taking meds? Like, what got him there to take meds? Like, what trauma or what events caused him to go, like, I need meds? Because not all the time you need a reason, but usually it's just like, there's at least a reason to it.
Yeah, I guarantee there was some context clue previously before about the movie, especially with the opening. I know you read the book, but from what I just personally watched from the movie, it just seems like he has some kind of sleeping disorder from the at the very beginning, because he's just all of a sudden in the mountains. Mm-hmm. Like, typically don't people wake up in the mountains?
That is fair. I mean, he just sleepwalk. I think I just answered my own gosh dang question. I think he's just taking medicine for sleepwalking. I think that's just it.
I mean, and also his therapist talked about if he had any more imaginary friends. So it goes to show even before the plot, because he already had some mental issues as well beforehand too.
Yeah.
So I guarantee there might have been something related, but I don't know. It definitely doesn't go into detail, especially in the movie.
And that's what I like about movies. I don't like movies that make me feel dumb.
Right. Oh, especially now with a lot of other movies having to hold your hand with everything. A lot of people all over social media have been talking about it. And I don't know.
That's why I don't like the director's cut, because it just holds your hand.
Yeah. Well, I had to watch it. I'm a little bit done with trying to pick up context clues of everything.
I mean, if I want to find more about it, of course, I will watch the director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never watched the director's cut out of the times. I've always chose the theatrical one because I've done some research. I'm like, it's just some extra scenes. You're just kind of holding your hand. So I was like, okay, you don't really need it. But like, I don't know. I think I'll probably watch the director's cut at some point just to figure more about it, I guess.
I'll definitely have to say, having to watch the director's cut, some of the stuff's kind of unreasonable, especially with some of the scenes that would just not have any dialogue at all. They're really dragged on more than they should. And it's honestly, I could skip like 10 seconds in the movie and I'll still be looking at like Donnie walking down the sidewalk for a while.
I don't, you can correct me on this. If I remember correctly, I think director's cut has more with Gretchen.
I don't know. It's been a while since I watched the non-director's cut, because the most recent one I did watch was the director's cut. But I think so. I think like there's one bigger scene where Donnie and Gretchen were like wanted to talk about time travel just a little bit.
I think, yeah.
But then there's like there's a little bit of a scene of some guy watching them just trying to get intimate with one another.
Very romantic. Yeah. But yeah. What's your favorite scene from this movie?
Oof. I'll definitely have to say the scene where Donnie gets to see people's like future like he gets to see where people are about to go. I think the visual effects on there are just so
their destiny.
Amazing. Yeah, their destiny, where they're about to go to. Like you see bubbles appearing off of people's like chest. It sounds weird, but like just watching it on the film itself, it's just so cool to watch.
It's funny because that scene got hated for the longest time because of how goofy it looked.
Really?
Yeah.
What? They're crazy.
Do you want to hear a fun fact about those orbs?
All right, lay it on me.
That was inspired by, I don't know if you remember watching football back in the day, like, or just seeing it when you're a kid walking by your parents or family or watching football.
Right.
But I don't know if you remember, but they used to draw on the TV, like, like circles and lines and like the plays and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what it was inspired by. The director was inspired by that. And
really?
He thought it would be a cool concept to make that as an impact into reality of that as their destiny and all that. And it's funny because he thought of all that while he was on some stuff. So yeah.
I did not know that. That's actually very intriguing. I just thought they were just like trying to be creative with like bubbles or something.
I mean, it is creative.
It is
He
creative.
did think of it, but he was just like, oh, I like that.
Yeah. Another thing I kind of picked up with this movie before I actually watched it is that they had spin-offs movie. I just thought there was this one movie about it.
Oh, the sequel, the second Donnie Darko is with his sister.
In total, there's like about like 5 of them, but like 2 of them are just behind the scenes of the movie, while the other 2. Wait, did I miscount that? Okay, 4 movies. 4 movies that was not from the original. One of them's a spin-off tale that says Sharon E. Donnie Darko. I don't know what that's about. I didn't get a lot of time to watch it. And there's a cult of Donnie Darko. And I thought that was very intriguing. I don't know what's the ratings for that movie, but I just thought it was just that one movie and that's it. But nope, there's a lot more. Am I crazy?
I'll say every time I'm looking up Donnie Darko, it pulls up the first film.
Oh, man.
I know there is a second one, which is about his little sister.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I might be crazy. Oh, no.
Yeah. There is S. Donnie Darko, which is a Donnie Darko tale about his sister.
Okay, so that's what I was talking about. I also saw there was a cult of Donnie Darko.
I didn't see a cult of Donnie Darko.
Interesting.
You could probably find it somewhere, though.
I guarantee you could. It has like the same thumbnail and everything of like the actual like 6-foot bunny dude that was in the movie.
That'd be fire.
I don't know what's it about though. I just skimmed by it, but I just needed to watch the original one.
I was supposed to say it was free on YouTube. I know that.
It was?
Please don't tell me you bought the movie on something or on a streaming service. You did, didn't you?
I plead the fifth.
Yeah, Donnie Darko, that is one thing I do like about YouTube. You can find some movies that are free on YouTube. Donnie Darko, both versions are actually free.
Really?
Yes. I will literally pull it up right now and show you.
Oh, no.
I mean, if you bought a streaming service, why not get into shows on there or movies that
you know what? Watch? Fair enough. I do like watching some movies and films. That's the same thing. Get out of here. I am sad.
I was about to say, it's right there.
Oh, no.
And then here's the director's cut.
For people that don't know, he's right now showing me on YouTube all this. It's free. Oh, man.
I mean,
my bank account is not too pleased with me.
What streaming service did you buy?
Apparently it's on Hulu.
Oh, Hulu's nothing, bro. Hulu's nothing. At that point, might as well get the student discount of Spotify Premium and Hulu.
I need to seriously get into student discount of everything.
Go to Spotify, because if you listen to music, it is great. You can go to the plans. You could probably sign up on. It would probably be easier to find it on your computer. Just look up student plan, Spotify Premium and Hulu, and you should be able to find it.
I really got to look into it then, because I love music. I love anything that listens to radio. I guess that's kind of the reason why I'm here, but still.
Let me see how much it is right now.
Probably like $6.
I say, if I remember correctly, I think it's because it used to be $4.99, and I think it's now $6.99.
No, not inflation.
I know it's insane.
That's $2 more. Drum roll, please.
It says, try Spotify Premium Student free for 1 month. Then $5.99 per month after that.
We're both wrong. It's $5.99. Oh, wait, it's the same thing as $6.
It's just $6.
Yeah.
Plus tax, so it's probably just $7. We love taxes.
Oh boy, we sure do.
Right. We're gonna go on a little break. We talked for 20 minutes, so we're gonna go on a 10-minute break. See you guys in about 10 minutes. Enjoy
Bye-bye.
The wonderful soundtrack of Donnie Darko. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3, Toledo's only alternative. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to WXUT 88.3, Toledo's only alternative. And this is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, and we're going to be continuing on with Donnie Darko. And
Yes.
I am with
Quinn Cooper.
And we're going to be continuing on, like I said. So,
Woohoo.
yeah. Let's see where our topic starts at for right now. Oh, yeah. So, do you know... Okay, what is... First, I should ask, what is the meaning... What does the movie mean to you? Like, What do you think the meaning of the movie is to you?
The way that I would usually see it, at least by myself, without the director's cut, having to hold my hand of what the story is, I would definitely say no matter how much you'd want to change about yourself, some things just never change. Might be a bit of a grim story, but at the same time, how the movie is entirely is a bit grim.
Fair enough. I put Donnie is just struggling to choose a path that he wants to take, and he's trying to make a decision that the world's not chosen for him. He wants to choose one that is not like, because he sees everyone else's destiny, he sees his own, but he wants to makes his own destiny while instead of the world choosing his destiny.
Honestly, that says a lot. That sounds a lot more better than what I came up.
And so he realizes that his destiny wasn't the way that he wanted to, because he really wanted to, take care of the people he really cared about and show the truth of bad people. Oh, yeah. But it hurted him in the end. So he realized that all he did was hurt the people he loved. So he just killed himself. So no one has to go through that pain and suffering.
I'll definitely have to agree with some parts, but definitely one character definitely deserved to have to get Donnie Darko'd, which was Jim Cunningham.
But if you think about it, literally, if he didn't expose him, that party wouldn't have happened and Gretchen wouldn't have died. Because, his parents are out of town at that moment. And then they're like, let's have a party.
I realized that, yeah. Wow, okay. That is a lot more deep than I thought it was.
It happens when you focus on a movie very harshly throughout the week.
I know. Look at you going above me on.
I really do. I know last week some people pointed out some facts after I have already done my show. It's like, okay, guys, you could have told me some of this. They're like, oh, did you talk about this? I'll be like, yep, And you'll be like, did you talk about this, though? I'm like, nope, but I forgot about that. So it happens. You forget some information.
But
and
hey, that saves up for another conversation for another time.
Exactly. I have some just kind of like facts real quick before we go more into the theories.
Oh.
So behind the song Mad World, which released in 1983, which originally sung by Tears for Fears, was a huge success. And but the most memorable version, which is the moody piano version, which is in this film by Gary Jules. Jules says it's the most beautiful song that he's ever heard of. And if it wasn't for this song specifically as well, this song was a big part of the movie's success. If this movie didn't have that song, it probably wouldn't have a bit. I mean, of course, it would still have a success, but like, it was part of the success.
Yeah, I honestly have to agree with that so heavily. Yeah, I know some movies that like to rely on one music that the entire thing. Some of it makes sense, but especially with Donnie Darko, that one song she brought up, I definitely have to agree with it because it may not be the entire theme about the movie, but it definitely does fit into it, if that makes sense.
It's funny because I remember hearing that specific version, the one that's in Donnie Darko, and I just never really knew it was part of a movie. I just remember it being kind of a meme.
Yeah.
So I didn't really think about it. So it's good to know where the connections started from.
Oh yeah.
So learning about there's many versions of the songs. And people always criticize me. I'll be like, oh, I like this song. They're like, that's a cover, right? I'm like, no. And I feel awful because you're like, well, this is the original song. And the more and more I figure out which songs were covers and which songs were the original, it just makes me realize how hard it is to be original anymore because there's so much out there and stuff that is being made has already been done mostly.
Well, that's a theory that comes along with that, things that you thought about have probably already been created or thought it out before, but that's much more of a deeper conversation to have in the future. But I guarantee going forward, there's going to be a lot more covers to look at, and it's going to be a lot more harder to find what song's a good version of the song.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, nonetheless, as long as it sounds good in the end, I think that's all that matters.
Like, I find covers, like, there's, like, Mad World, they wanted that song, but they want to alter it to make it, because they like the message of the song.
Mm-hmm.
But it just didn't fit. I feel like that's why they made the version that they did, is to fit for the film.
Oh, yeah.
It's funny because when I first watched the film, this was literally my thought. Why is this song at the end? It does not work at all. I still say that now because all I can think about is the memes. So I just laugh. I can't think sad about it. I think it was because of the memes that screwed up what the song actually means. Memes
usually do that.
So it's just like, why? I don't see it as sad.
Mm-hmm.
I just find the song really catchy and really funny, in my opinion. So whenever I hear it, I just kind of giggle a little bit.
I don't blame you. Although, personally for me, I haven't seen the memes, but I see where you're coming from, though, nonetheless.
I'll have to show you some memes during our next break. All right.
I do got to ask, though. So one of the scenes that was in the movie, they question about the emotion of love and fear. Do you really believe it's very simple or complex, like how Donnie thinks it is?
It's more than that.
Yeah?
Life is not that easy. If life was that easy, we would all be robots. I mean, literally, we would all be robots, would be programmed. But our brain is so complex. No matter how simple we can make it, our brain will still dissect it more than just by good and evil.
Yeah.
That's why that's why there's anti-heroes. There's why there's anti-villains and all that.
They're the most fun characters.
Because there's no just good and bad.
Oh, yeah.
Life's not that simple. I'm sorry.
I know some people that would want to debate that, actually, like personal people I've known, but I'll have to agree with you. Things are not too, like, simple as things can be. I mean, people are not born evil or good or fearful or loving, but...
I do have to say, like, there's the basic definitions of good and bad, and everyone has a different interpretation on who's good and who's bad. Everyone has a different opinion on what type of person you are. There could be someone out there, well, there is, I guarantee you. I don't want to say there might be. No, there is someone that probably thinks I'm the worst person in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee it. And there's some people that I think I'm the nicest person in the world. Everyone has a different interpretation on who you are as a person. So I personally believe that life is definitely more complex than just good and evil.
I definitely have to agree. That's one thing I didn't understand really about the movie, at least with the one scene I was really questioning love and fear.
It just makes you think.
It does make you think. And I honestly appreciate the movie for that, because like you said previously before, it doesn't hold your hand throughout the entire way of what's the message of the movie itself.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it's the reason why I even brought it up. It's a good question to think about every now and then.
It's funny because she calls it the lifeline. It just in my brain when she first started drawing it, all I could think about is the Back to the Future. This is the present. This is the future. So I feel like that's kind of inspirational. In my mind, showing that this is a time traveling movie, showing the past and the future.
In some ways, I could definitely see that. I definitely can see that.
It just frustrates me because the actor that plays as that teacher, the gym teacher, that says about the lifeline and all that, she's a really good actor, but she always plays as, I don't know how to describe that character, the Karen type of person. She always acts like everything's my way or you're evil.
Hear me out though. That's what she's most known for.
I
Let's
know.
be honest. Without her, who else would we imagine? Elmo doing it?
I don't know, but I know there's some characters that just act like who they play as.
Oh yeah.
I'll give an example. Breaking Bad, Skylar. That's how she really acts in real life. That's just the type of person she is. And that might sound really weird, but I've done some research and it's just, it works for her. She plays really well as that character, but she's that paranoid type of person.
Right.
And that's just how some people are. Some people just live their roles.
Not to mention, especially if they were to have one shining role, that's how people, other people are going to perceive that person. I know a certain voice actor that used to be a part of a certain video game. I would not mention. Basically,
What
they
game?
were GTA.
Oh, GTA?
Yeah,
I like
GTA 5, the most recent one.
Oh, which character?
The character that was voiced by Trevor.
Oh.
He was most well known to be like a
mean, rude, and stuck up.
Yeah.
But he's genuinely a great, nice, adventuring guy.
I know. He's like
Poor
the
Stephen
direct
Ogg.
opposite of what you were saying. But yet going forward, that's how other people perceived him as. And it actually got to him, like his psyche.
Oh my
that
gosh,
he
yes.
just would take a break about it. And it's just.
That's why that's why you don't really see him at panels.
Yeah.
It's because he hates that. Because I don't know if you've seen it, because I follow him on Instagram, and he's talked about this. He was just like, I don't want people to come up to me and be like, yeah, yell at me, yeah, yell at me. It's like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to be thanked, and I want to give you a hug, and like, I want to show you how.
Imagine his position. Someone saying, yell at me, please yell at me.
No, he's literally gotten comments like, curse at me, beat me up. It's just
I
like,
need to be humble.
And he's like, I just want to give you a hug. Like I want to like be there for you, man.
That just brings up the question of like that. What if that one like actor from the movie that plays the gym teacher? I wonder if that's how her life went. Like, do you know it all? Do you know it all? If that's how people perceive her as like a mean like person?
I don't think people perceive her as mean. I just think people just perceive her as a Karen.
Yeah. It's crazy.
But yeah, I liked how far we went with that.
Oh yeah.
I've already mentioned that. This one's a basic known fact in the film. Jake Gyllenhaal's sister was actually Donnie's sister.
I did not know that.
Like, Donnie's sister, like a bit older sister.
The older sister?
The older sister. That is Donnie's sister. That's his actual sister.
Huh.
Yeah. That's like the most well-known fact from the movie.
Wasn't this also Jake Gyllenhaal's first movie?
I think so, maybe.
I think so. I think that's
if not, no, it wasn't his first, but it was one of his major role movies, like success
That's about right,
roles.
yeah.
I think it was his second success role movie because I think his first was. Oh, let me check real quick.
That's at least what I heard, or at least that's what I like commonly hear about Jake Gyllenhaal. Oh, am I right? Am I wrong? Coin toss.
Sorry, I'm trying to find his first movie. I found some research on it earlier. I just couldn't remember which one it was.
Oh man, you're going to have to do a lot more research for this one then. He does a lot of movies.
Oh, not really.
No?
I say his most well-known recent role is just playing Mysterio in Spider-Man. So
yeah.
It's funny because when I watched Spider-Man, I did not know that was Jake Gyllenhaal. He looks completely different than what he did when he was younger.
Oh, with the facial hair, you mean?
Yeah, he just looks so completely different. Because you would go from this older version,
the more stern looking
stuff.
dude.
He's always a good looking guy.
Yeah.
To Donnie Darko, like it looks like two completely different people.
Yeah, well, people talk about how facial hair is like the makeup for men. It does.
It really is.
It really does. Curious works on men.
Yeah, I tried growing facial hair. It doesn't grow in, right? So I just shave it off every time.
Yeah, some people it works with, some people it doesn't. It mostly depends on your genetics, sadly.
It's funny because my dad, I've been told my dad looks like an Amish man. So it's just like, okay, I cannot grow facial hair well like my dad, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you really want to get some facial hair, there's always some products that maybe work.
I'll be fine.
Nah, you're not too interested in doing it?
Nah.
Fair enough. It's a lot of
That's what the movie was called. His first movie was called City Slickers, which came out in 1991. And then October Sky was his second one, which is his first well-known role, and then Donnie Darko.
Huh.
So Donnie Darko was his third success role.
Third? Oh, wow. Okay, that's a lot more impressive than what I thought it was. Wow. Okay.
It's funny because there was so many different people that they had in mind for Donnie. And they finally, I think Jake Gyllenhaal was their third choice.
Really? Do you know who's leading up with them?
Oh, let me see.
More research. Yippee. I feel so bad. I'm making
I like doing this stuff.
He's on a fetch quest for knowledge.
I like this stuff is not torture to me. Jason Schwartzman was supposed to be Donnie Darko, and then David Hasselhoff was one.
David Hasselhoff. Wow.
There was actually a lot. There was Wes Anderson. Mark Wahlberg.
Well, okay, that's surprising to hear at least. Actually,
Vince Vaughn was another choice.
What's that?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn was the almost original role, and then about fifth or sixth choice before they came up.
That's very surprising because when I watched the movie, actually, I was actually just surprised to see some other stars I know of that were a part of that movie. I think Seth Rogen was part of it, like as one of the boys.
Seth Rogen, yes, Seth Rogen. This was his very first role in a movie.
Oh my goodness!
And if it was just that one line, and it's the most cringiest line in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is horrible, but it's just like, how did this set his career? You would think after seeing that, like, bro, why would you do that?
Well, if you look at Seth Rogen now, I guarantee just people saw some special something special in him. I mean, if you look at the roles he's taken up now, we could definitely see what he can bring up to the table.
He's always been a comedian.
Oh yeah, he definitely has been. He's also done some great directing movies that relates to comedy as well.
Oh,
what was another star I was very surprised to see?
Seth Rogen was in
Kung Fu Panda.
I'm trying to think of live action.
Live action.
Let me look up. I want to clarify because I'm pretty sure he was also in. Oh, he was in Step Brothers.
Step Brothers. Wait, was he?
Yes, because it was during the interview compilation when Will Ferrell and I forget the actor's name, when they were both trying to find interviews, and it's just like they're going through a bunch of different interviews, and then I think it was Will Ferrell that farted, and then Seth Rogen's like, "Did you fart? I can taste it. Did you have this?" And it was just such a funny scene. Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah.
Either way, nonetheless, there's definitely some stars you'll have to look forward to when watching this movie.
For sure.
For sure. Man, I can feel the heat already.
It is getting hot in here.
Oh man.
All right. Let's go through some facts as best we can. So Donnie Darko came out on October 6th, a few weeks after 9/11. So the movie flopped.
Oh.
And it didn't help that the movie dealt with a plane crashing.
Mm-hmm.
So that also didn't have a good reputation on the film either. So the movie flopped in the theaters, really flopped.
Actually, a lot of things flopped around that time too. Not even just movies, even music as well, and that's very intriguing to see.
Yeah, and I think they got their money back once the movie came out on DVD.
Well, that's good at least. If Straight would make some profit.
Jake Gyllenhaal and Seth Rogen during the red carpet or whatever, or one of the parties. When the film finished up, filming and all that,
mm-hmm.
They had no clue what the movie was even about themselves.
So the first time watching this movie, I was okay. Thank goodness I'm not alone with trying to understand this movie. To be fair, like I said previously before, it is a bit more confusing to watch it, but honestly, I'm glad I can relate with Jake Gyllenhaal.
It's just funny because it is one of those movies that you have to have a lot of previous knowledge behind to understand the movie.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of cultural references. There's a lot of sci-fi references. You just have to understand time travel as a whole to figure out, he went back in time. Because if you think about it, if you just start seeing randomly, why are they replaying the beginning of the movie again?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it happening? Oh, there's a dead body. Oh, who's that? Donnie Darko. Oh, that's what happened. If you had no clue, you're gonna get lost.
Yeah,
there's a lot of jumps for sure.
I was very intrigued by how they built up one of the characters, Frank. when I first watched it, I was like so confused because you would think a giant 6-foot bunny that was like not shown shown his face a lot besides for one scene, you would expect it to be the main character from the future. But no, it's just some dude that you wouldn't know until like the very end of the movie. And even then, like he just pops up and he goes.
I think the relation of the real life character of Frank, I think that was Donnie Darko's sister's boyfriend.
Really?
I think. Don't quote me on that one. I think that might have been a theory that I found. I don't remember entirely.
I'm pretty sure that's a theory because you could definitely tell Donnie's sister was definitely focused on having fun at the party and not really looking for her lover.
Dude.
And all of a sudden Frank just pops up by like the last scene. I don't know. It just doesn't add up.
Not gonna lie, there was one scene in that movie that confused me. That like this past when I recently watched it just for this show, it confused me. I was like, okay, his girlfriend's with him, and then he kisses some other person. It's his actual sister, but it's embarrassing for me to admit. But he kisses his sister, like kiss on the forehead, saying goodbye or whatever. I was like, who is he saying goodbye to? Because I didn't recognize the face because, it's in a Halloween outfit and all that.
Honestly,
I was like, is he cheating on Gretchen? Like, what the heck is going on?
Okay, you know what? I'm glad to hear that I was the only one else saying that because the first time when I watched it, I thought the exact same thing. Who's this girl? No, that's his sister.
Yeah, I had to, I didn't look up who is this person who's kissing. Like, literally, during one of the videos I was watching for research, it just talked about, oh, he kissed his sister goodbye, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait, that's his sister? I was like, bro, I thought he was, I was like, okay, that's not his mom. That's not Gretchen. That's not his little sister. Who the heck are you? And like, his sister was the last thing I thought of. Like, I was just like, that's not his sister. It can't be. Like, and I was like, okay, I guess I was right.
Can we also talk about how Donnie is a huge Smurf nerd? Like when he talked about when he had a conversation with his buddies about Smurfs.
Smurfs was a big comic strip back then.
Back then, really?
Yeah.
Compared to now, I was like very surprised by how much knowledge he had about Smurfs. Like, man, I didn't know Smurfette was evil at one point. Mm-hmm. That's like intense lore. I mean,
it is true that Smurfette was, made by Gargamel to infiltrate those Smurfs, but it didn't work out well because Smurfette was like, I don't like what Gargamel is doing. Can I live with you guys? And then they took care of her.
Yep.
And of course, like Donnie Darko said, they're asexual. They can't reproduce.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
It does make sense. I mean,
so when I first watched it, I was like, yeah, I already knew that. I was like, how do you not know that? Like,
I don't know. It's just, at least from my personal experience, I have not seen much of Smurfs in my life. At least until the 2012 movie. That was live action CGI.
Oh, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
With, what's his name from, what show was popular? But
Cartoon Network?
No, well, anywho, one of the main characters in that Smurfs movie was in, I Met Your Mother or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was very popular in that show. And then when I saw him that he was in the Smurfs, I was like, oh, that's cool.
I gotta watch the Smurfs movie.
Literally, that was the only reason, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just personally, from my experience, I haven't seen much of Smurfs in my life besides, those couples of movies.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, indeed.
Gyllenhaal never blinked or didn't blink that much when doing his stare to make his character more scary, by the way.
I noticed that. There's also other subtle details about that, too, is that he doesn't move his mouth as much whenever he's doing his sleepwalking thing, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, it is him sleepwalking and talking.
Yeah.
But still, it's a nice touch of the detail to know about.
It's also his medicine making him that way, too.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was just him not taking the meds.
Yeah, it has side effects.
Man, there's so much other details I'm missing. I need to know more.
Kelly, director and writer of the film, came up with the future. I already said that. Yeah, the future blobs while watching football because of the lines they used to draw on the screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, Donnie Darko was Seth Rogen's first movie appearance.
We also talked about
Director Kelly wrote the script when he was 22 years old. He, I think, wrote this during college.
Oh man, I'm lacking.
The bunny suit was designed by Richard Kelly's friend and roommate artist Gary J. I don't know how to say his last name. Tunnicliffe, I think that's how you say his last name.
I don't know.
The school scenes were filmed at Loyola High School in Los Angeles, California. The original character of Frank was intended to be a giant beaver instead of a bunny.
That's interesting.
The line, "Why are you wearing that stupid bunny suit?" was improvised by Jake Gyllenhaal.
Honestly, I'm glad he improvised it.
Donnie was inspired by Richard Kelly's... Yeah, Donnie Darko was inspired by Richard Kelly's own experience with mental illness.
Really?
Yes.
Just like, does he also have like a...
I don't think he has it as bad, but I think he just suffered with it and was inspiration.
I was very curious by like, I don't know, it's just a nice touch of detail. I'm glad to know it came from the actual like person that like made the film possible.
And to me, it makes it more mysterious because he's lived through it. He's going to be the one, this is how it literally happens. I'm going to make everyone else feel that same way.
Yeah.
And it's dark. It's really dark, but if you want to get your message across and mysterious, like you're going to want to do it.
It does a great job.
The house of Donnie Darko, this is actually a pretty fun fact. The house of Donnie Darko being shot at was really close to the house of Ferris Bueller.
What?
It was like maybe a few blocks down the road.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
So wait, was that an actual house? I thought it was just all like green screen and stuff like
that.
Yeah,
I feel like most of the scenes were shot in the house. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
What?
Yeah.
I'm so used to modern movies not being on green screen. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that is one thing I do find sad with modern movies. Most of it's green screen.
Yeah.
Most of it's just green screen anymore rather than...
Practical.
I mean, the reason why they do green screen is because it's cheaper than renting
a whole house and stuff
like that. A whole house.
Yeah.
And having a film license to record in that specific area for certain times.
But for me, I feel like that just brings a lot more heart to the movie.
It does.
Natural detail. You wouldn't have to like really pick up that it's CGI. That's why a lot of people are even picking up and wanting to critique CGI because it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. I feel like even if it might be a little bit expensive, it's going to be a lot more worth it in the end. At least that's how I feel.
I know most movies try to shoot in one spot so they can have a lot of footage. Mm-hmm. So when they need CGI, they can reference to it and use AI to fill in the rest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
AI, really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think about. And I know some films, they would build most of the set to a certain height and then fill the rest with CGI. Like especially cityscapes, they would build it to a certain height so they don't have to like worry about, oh crap, the camera's a little bit this far. No, they have a lot of space to do. Like before the new series of Ghostbusters came out, the one just with the females, right? Mm-hmm. You know, the cityscape. Most of that is built set and then blue screen above it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
It is a lot of.
There's a lot of planning, and I guarantee it techniques that go along with doing that too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with lighting, I would assume, because lighting is really important, especially like recording anything, even if it's like through media or making films. I feel like details like those you would have to get correct and do it right on the first time.
Yes, I agree.
Oh,
nice. All right. Sam Raimi gave permission to Kelly to use Evil Dead footage for free because they were both independent movies and Raimi knows how hard it is to be independent.
What a nice guy. I was very surprised to hear that, like, Evil Dead being a part of the movie.
I know. Oh my gosh. When I first watched it, in class, because I'll be honest with you, I knew about Donnie Darko, but I really wanted to watch it. And it's funny because that was, Critical was my first film class. And I was like, I want to watch Donnie Darko. And literally, when I walked into that class, we watched Donnie Darko. I'm like, I already planned to watch this today. Anyway, I'm going to watch it now here in class. I don't have to plan to watch it when I get home. So it was really funny, very cliche.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, let's be honest. With the time that the movie was made, it makes sense why it's a little bit cliche here and there. I mean, especially with the boys in the movie, some of their lines are like, to be fair, really raunchy, but also very
realistic,
cliche, and realistic too. Especially with the how angsty they can get as teenagers, because they are teenagers at the end. They're out of high school. That's like the peak of emotional turmoil.
It's funny because people will be shocked. They're like, "Oh my god, they say that."
Yeah, they do.
And it's like I heard way worse in high school.
Yeah. Not to mention online too. People go above and beyond if they have the possibility of saying it.
Yeah, no kidding.
All
right. You ready to take a break?
Yeah, I need the fan.
All right. We're going to take a few 10-minute break. We're going to be on at 11:15. It is currently 11:02. Let's see the temperature outside. It is currently light raining with 68 degrees Fahrenheit outside.
Oh, yeah. I felt that when I was picking up my little drink. I'm already drenched in water a little bit.
Anywho, here's a 15-minute break. We'll be on at 11:15 or around that time. So, yeah, this is the AJ with the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3. See you guys on in a few minutes. Hello, everyone. We are back. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show on WXUT 88.3, Toledo's only alternative. And today we're going to be continuing talking about Donnie Darko. And I am with
Quinn Cooper.
And we're going to be finishing up the segment for Quinn because Quinn has to leave at 11:30. So we're going to be finishing up this segment for Quinn before Quinn leaves. So I'm going to be starting off our question that we usually do after our 11:30 break because I usually come on at 11:40 and ask that question. But I want to do a little bit early so you can be here for that. And then, of course, if you have anything to promote, you could do that as well. All right. So the question is, do you believe that time travel is a real thing?
I definitely do believe time travel in some way is a real thing. I mean, there's already some science that proves that we can go forward in time. It's just mostly this relatively. I cannot speak today. Basically, the more faster you are, the more faster you're able to go forward in time compared to how you were previously before. At least that's how some people I heard of that would be credible, at least to me, would believe in time travel. What about you?
I believe in time travel. I just don't know how. If someone would be like, "Why?" I'd be like, "I don't know. I just believe it exists. I don't know. I just
don't get in the details, man. Just let me believe."
I don't know. It's just like people that still that believe in folklore and like some creatures and other theories. I mean, it's just like I almost just said something very controversial. I don't want to talk about that happened in history. It's just like what is just a very family-friendly theory.
Oh, man, be careful.
That's why I'm not trying to go with history.
Basically just some...
I mean, it's like the theory of...
let's be honest. Every theory is some way not fully truthful yet.
It's just like the theory of Wall-E, how that's the theory of how Earth is going to look.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of a theory. There is some facts behind it, but it hasn't been fully proven yet. That's what makes it a theory. But I get what you mean, yeah. There's a lot of things, especially in life, there's a lot of things that are related to theory. But I would say time theory is a relative thing that could be a reality.
I mean, it's like the same thing with aliens. I do believe there's aliens, and people are like, won't they destroy us? But I feel like they're just observing right now.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, space is a pretty big thing.
Space is a pretty big thing. Like, you cannot just say, I mean, what is the definition of an alien? Let me look that up real quick.
To be fair, from what I've heard and how it's used, like, very commonly, it's a very vague term that says beyond of what is natural. Like how some people would declare some people that would be foreign. They would say they're aliens.
That is literally the definition of an alien is belonging to a foreign country or nation.
Exactly. It's something that's not native of that one space.
So technically aliens do exist, but like I don't want to say society. That. Like I'm not just going to go up to someone from Asia and be like, you're an alien. Like, no, that's just rude as heck. Like, I don't know. No, it's messed up.
But nonetheless, there is some things that are like aliens, and not to mention, like what we said before, space is a huge thing.
Space is huge.
It's just simple as like looking at like...
We barely even know what's out of Earth in our own solar system. You think we're going to know beyond the Milky Way?
Exactly.
No.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. Space is always growing. People always bring up the question of, like, oh, we know more about, space than we do the ocean. Well, I mean, maybe that's a little bit true, but space is always growing. The ocean doesn't change.
But it does make you think, why do we focus on space more than the ocean? The ocean is on our own Earth.
Yeah.
Why don't we focus on that first in space?
That's a good question.
Like, I understand space is very serious because, the world can collide and all that. Like, that is important. Sure, the world can end with one meteor if it's big enough. We can be destroyed.
Oh, yeah.
I understand with that, but, like, why are you so focused on trying to build life on another planet when we don't even know what our whole planet is even about?
Yeah, I mean, just like some place like the Mariana Trench, there's definitely some spaces we cannot fully get a grasp of because laws and physics that are part of our planet as ourselves. It's pretty interesting to look into, but only time will tell what we'll find. I mean, every day we're finding new species at our own planet. They're not just coming out of like meteorites or anything.
Yeah.
You still find them in the ocean.
I mean, it's just like... a skinwalker, is that a real creature? Is it just folklore, or is it just a mutant? Like, it's a mixed breed of something. Like, who knows? It's really hard to tell. It's like Bigfoot. Is Bigfoot even really real?
I mean,
it's one thing. Like, sure, I can believe Bigfoot is real, but also at the same exact time, I'm not going to be like, guys, Bigfoot is real. He's in my backyard right now. No, I believe the creature exists somewhere.
Well, hey, I mean, to be fair, that's what sparks curiosity. And if we don't have curiosity, we're not going to look above and beyond and looking forward to our future.
That is true.
Like previously we said before, we would have been just robots just going about our daily lives like usual, rinse and repeat over and over again. But stuff like this, it makes us go above and beyond and like trying to find something new, something that's not typically known.
I do believe that I know this is going to be way beyond our generation, like thousands and thousands of years. I do believe that eventually the only part of our body that's going to be skin is our head and above, and then our heart. I feel like the rest is just going to be robotic.
I could definitely see that.
I feel like we're definitely going to be, because, every day people are trying to figure out how to live a longer life.
Oh, yeah. I mean, millionaires are even trying to push above and beyond that little like physical capability. Have you seen stuff like Cyberpunk 2027?
2077?
Yeah.
So that is an interesting game. I have never played the full game yet, but I do have the game.
It's so intriguing.
It is such a fun game. Cyberpunk Edge Runners is a good show.
That too. The entire concept of that story
is so interesting.
Relatable and interesting, especially in the time we live in now, especially with stuff like politics, stuff like science, stuff like technology. Just like we brought up before, people are trying to live their life long as can be, but at the same time, with technology grows as we do, who knows what we could do if we even able to live long enough to even see it.
Yeah, for sure. I also do believe once we do get to a point where we figure out, how to live a life longer, it's going to be available for those who has money.
Yeah.
It's not going to be available for everyone. That's for sure. And that's going to be like really sad. Like,
you also got to think about there's always going to be some changes in products that comes in our grocery stores, like food, drinks. It's a lot more different than how it was 50 years.
I think it would be less, food and drinks. Because once we have a robotic body, I don't think we're going to need actual fruits, vegetables. I don't think we're going to need water as much.
That is true. And there is something that would be interesting to look into is that drinkable water is a very limited source for us to have. So my question I'll be wanting to know in the future is if we're going to be running out of natural drinkable water or
just
if we're
natural resources in general.
Yeah. I mean, especially with how much we mine it and we don't let it regrow from it being like a stable amount of natural resource we can have. It's very troubling to think about. Very troubling.
It is very scary. We have a little bit of time before you leave, so we can go on to... Let's see. What is something that I can talk about that would be interesting before you leave? I mean, they're all interesting, but I want to find one that you think. Okay. This was in a YouTube short, by the way, that I found this on. The lore behind Frank, okay? This was like a really interesting theory. Frank from the movie was inspired by an ancient folklore from Northern Europe, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Both the threat of doom and shaggy and creepy bunny mask outfit nods to the puka, aka shape-shifting animal spirit trickster. Pukas take the form of any animal, including human, but usually attains animal features like tails or like a tail or ears. They usually taunt victims with death, but never kill, and only appears on Seiwan, I forget what holiday that is, or Halloween. And then pukas carry victims on strange and violent and purposeless journeys, which sounds very similar to Frank, because not like, the real life character of Frank in the story, but the vision Frank.
The vision Frank.
I don't know what timeline I would consider that Frank to be, but you know what I mean.
I would just say future Frank.
Future. I don't know, but because if you consider he is dead,
he's like a ghost.
I mean, I've seen some theories like Donnie also time travels and tries to try to persuade him into the right decisions.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen theories like that, but it was just like really hard to take a grasp on it, because it is an interesting theory that Frank goes back in time. Hey, bro, you're gonna kill me. Like, you're also gonna hurt yourself. Don't do that.
Oh, I mean, to be fair, it's relating towards that one character that's like trying to torment the one person about death. Like, hey, you're gonna do some bad stuff, but I think that alone is gonna be intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee, once he figured out who Frank was and that how he killed Frank, it's just interesting.
It is very, very interesting. Do you know why? I think I might have mentioned it before in this episode, but do you remember why Donnie kills himself?
To fix his problems that he caused in that timeline?
Yes.
Yes.
So like he does now. More and more I'm speaking about. I did mention it before. He did. He wanted to fix his problems that he chose for his destiny and realized that it was not the right idea, and he doesn't want to cause any more pain. So the only way to do that, so his past self doesn't go in a time loop over and over and over, and which the only way to make this balance of a universe, because Frank says this is when the world will end. So the only way to make it balance, because it's uneven right now.
Mm-hmm.
And with the path that he was originally going on, it was making it more and more uneven, which was going to end the world. So he goes back in time, which fixed the timeline to make it balance. And the only way to do that was by killing himself.
That's very interesting. It's like for a soul. Okay.
Because if you remember, there was a break in reality. I don't know if you remember the black dust and black lines in the sky.
Yeah.
He was breaking reality, and it was like going towards the end of the world, and he realized, oh crap, I messed up. The only way to save myself is going back in time and doing all that.
The movie's very deep, very deep.
The movie is very deep. All right, you have 1 minute left. Do you have anything that you would like to promote?
Well, I have a singular social media account which is named Womp Womp 100. It's on TikTok. As of right now, there's already some videos I previously recorded before, but going forward, I definitely do plan on doing sorts of like radio work and music and video game related. So hopefully people that will be interested in looking into that stuff will be interested in that.
Hell yeah. Can't wait. Do you plan to have your own show at some point?
I would hope so. I definitely do got to get some training and a good understanding of what it means to have a radio show. But hopefully we'll get something running up and going. But either way, it was a pleasure being here.
I hope you enjoy and come back. This is not the end of the episode for me, but it is for Quinn. So, Quinn, if you'd like to come on the show, please don't be a stranger. You're always invited to come back on.
I'll let you know. I'll definitely let you know. Thank you again for letting me being here.
Of course. All right, I want to take a break so I can let Quinn go for whatever you got planned on going. But I don't want to take away your time, so you can get whatever you need done. So yeah, this is WXUT Plexi Film Show, and I'll be back at 11:40. See you guys soon, and I'll be finishing up this episode after that. So yeah, this is the Plexi Film Show. Hopefully you guys enjoy more of the Donnie Darko soundtrack. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to WXUT 88.3, Toledo's only alternative. And this is AJ back with the Plexi Film Show, and I'm going to be continuing with Donnie Darko. This is going to be my last section of the night. Sorry for a little bit of delay of me finishing up this segment, or finishing up our final segment. I had some technical difficulties, and I had some questions for a beautiful man trip. So sorry about that, but anyhow, we're going to be finishing up this episode with a few more theories, and we should be done from there. Like I said at the end of last segment, Quinn had to go and leave, and I said that was okay, because, it's not my life. I usually have people on if they want to only be here for 30 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't care. As long as they just want to come and enjoy themselves, I want that. I want them to relax and have a good time. Anywho, let's finish off this episode. So we, if you don't remember, I forget her name. The teacher's name, the female teacher. Let me look up Donnie Darko's cast again. Donnie cast, Karen Pomeroy, a.k.a. Drew Barrymore's character, talks about the most beautiful sentence in the English language or whatever. Yeah, beautiful phrase in most English languages about the cellar door, which leads to the death of Donnie's girlfriend. And the quote was claimed by a famous linguist by saying that it's a beautiful phrase in English language. And the famous linguist was the Lord of the Rings author, J.R.R. Tolkien. So yeah, I found that really interesting, considering I was wondering where the cellar door just kind of came out of nowhere. Was very surprising to me. Donnie says as well, during that whole scene leading up to Donnie's girlfriend's death, Donnie says, Deus ex machina, which refers to a random act in a story, to help save the protagonist from death. And he starts repeating that when he's on the ground at a vulnerable point, and that point with the bullies. And of course, Gretchen gets hit by the car, but Donnie's safe. The protagonist is fine. But, of course, the antagonist had to, I think I would consider the bullies part of the antagonist. I'd say Frank is also part of the antagonist as well, but I don't know. It is really tricky. I really wish I would have talked about that. We could talk about that in another episode for sure. But yeah, I found that really interesting. Because I'll be honest with you, when I heard Donnie saying Deus ex machina, I was so confused what the heck he was saying. So when I found the theory about the cellar door, they referenced this quote, and I thought that was really interesting. Sorry, I had to go a little bit tangent about that, but I just found that really interesting. Anywho, Sparkle Motion, the dance competition of the team that Donnie's little girlfriend is in and part of. Donnie's mom takes Donnie's little sister to the competition, but when heading there, there was a cause of death crash on them in the airplane. I don't know if they were heading to the competition or coming back from competition. I don't remember which, but there was a scene towards the end of the film. There was a crash, which leads up to the plane engine and to the house, which I think, if I remember correctly, Donnie sees that happens and he goes all the way back to in time. So he saves his mom and little sister so they don't die. And then to save them, he goes farther back in time and just kills or ends his own life instead, which is really, really deep. I find that really, really sweet of Donnie. It kind of shows how caring Donnie as a character is. So yeah, that is the end of that theory. I wouldn't even consider that a theory. I would say it was more of a just fun fact. Or yeah, I could say it would be a theory because that would make sense. Moving on, meaning of life. which is what Donnie's character tries to figure out on his own constantly, back and forth throughout the whole time. And while he's trying to find the meaning of life, he's doing all these things, trying to figure out his own destiny, because he doesn't want the world to make his own destiny for him. He wants to make his own destiny. So he needs to realize he needs to accept the destiny that the world has for him. And the spheres that you would see coming out of the chest are like predestinies that are coming out of their chest, like what they're about to do in that time. And he needs to accept that everyone has a pre-made destiny for their lives, and they don't have full control of their lives. And Donnie realizes that, and he just wants to try to fix it and be like, no, and resist that resentment of control. He also needs to realize that life is more complicated than good and bad, or good and evil, whatever you want to phrase it. And he realizes that through everything that he's learned and trauma in his past, especially through the mental stability that he has. It's not really strong. It's kind of on the weak side. He's struggling through mental health. Life's answer isn't so simple. And then last up, meaning of life would be make life better for others. And he realized how selfish he was being at first by trying to find his destiny. So, I mean, I would say Donnie's always cared about other people as much as he can. He would try and make people's life better and more positive, and always treat people with a positive attitude. I know it's kind of hard to believe when he would yell at his gym teacher and the inspirational coach about the complex of life, and it's not that simple. You would think that he's not a good person. He's not trying to be positive for others, but that sacrifice of ending his life really shows how much he cares about other people than just himself. He just cares a lot for other people than himself. Especially Gretchen, he's always there for her when she's struggling. He doesn't question it. He doesn't fight back with her. He kind of just is there for her when she needs it. At the party, she comes in, she's struggling. He's automatically in that, precaution of, I need to save her. I need to, take care of her. So he's even though this is his party, he just automatically goes upstairs and talks to her and tries to make her feel better. So I just find that really interesting, that the whole story is him trying to find the meaning of life as well. So yeah. This was a very short end of the segment, but I have a personal question that I would want to answer myself. If I had to go back in time, I mean, I've already answered this in Back to the Future because they're both time-traveling movies. I realized that when I rewatched Donnie Darko, I was like, dang, I chose 2 time-traveling movies back-to-back, which is very funny, honestly. But if I had to go back in time, is there a moment that I would sacrifice my own life with to save someone else's? And I would say yes. Yes, I would. There are some people in my life that have done that before, and sure, it hurts for me, but he's made an impact on a lot of people, positively and of course negatively on the results of where he is now. But yeah, people like Donnie and my friend really care about the people who come into his life. And I want to do the same thing. I want to do better with that. I mean, sure, I try to make a positive interaction, but sometimes, we all get selfish in our own lives depending on where we are. But we're all human. We make mistakes. But yeah. This is the end of the episode. I hope you guys really liked this episode. Sorry that this was all over the place, I know. But, that's what makes my show interesting. You never know where it can go from one theory to another or one conversation to another about one thing about the film. And that's what I like about my show. Sure, I want to go deep diving into the film, which I do. I talked about this with Quinn when my first ideal goal when I first started the show was that I want to talk more about the shots, the angles. But once I started prepping up for my first show, I got used to that formula that I had, and I still use it to the episodes today. And I realized it would be really hard to talk about certain scenes because you guys can't see it. I mean, sure, if I had video, the post-production people would see, but when I'm on live radio right now, not many will be able to see it. And I just feel like it'd be easier for all types of listeners out there to get a chance to understand what I'm talking about. So I found another way to do it, which is talking about theories and all that. So yeah. Sorry to ramble on there. But yeah, this is the end of the episode. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, finishing off with Donnie Darko. And next week we'll be starting season 2 of my show. The next 10 episodes are going to be about TV shows. If you guys have any TV shows, please go to my Instagram. Just look up Plexi Film or Plexi Film Show. You'll be able to see it. The logo is pink. And then you'll see my graphics. You'll know you're at the right place. Just DM me and let me know if any shows you guys want me to talk about. I am more than willing to go into them and watch them. Because shows are great. All media is great. If you guys have any ideas how I could talk about TV shows on episodes, please let me know. Because the only concept I can figure out is talk about certain episodes, like maybe 2 to 3 episodes, depending on how long each episode is of a certain season, talk about it throughout the whole episode. And if we go somewhere else in the show, we can talk about it. You know, like how we do with the show, we kind of jump to other movies on other media as well. But that's the only way I can think about is talk maybe about a few episodes in a certain season. So yeah. Yeah, if you guys have any other shows or if you have any TV shows, because it will be all loop. So after I get done with season 2, which is 10 episodes of TV shows, I'll go move on to games. And then after season 3, which is games, I'll be going back to movies for 10 more episodes. So it's going to be a cycle. How I do is every 10 episodes, I'll be switching subjects of media. So if that helps you guys figure out what you guys want to talk about, it'll be right there. As much as I want to do straight just movies, I want to keep on the plan that I originally had as TV shows, video games, and movies. It also brightens up the audience and brightens up my knowledge on how different media works. So yeah. And also just give me more stuff to look at as well, because we love that. Anywho, sorry. I say sorry a lot. And anywho, this is going to be the end of the episode. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show. Hopefully you guys really like this season finale for season 1. I had a great time. I guarantee Quinn had a good time. So yeah, feel free to DM me. Check out my show on YouTube or Spotify. Just look up Plexi Film Show. You'll be able to find it. But yeah, this is AJ with the Plexi Film Show. And this is the end of season 1. Have a great night. Stay safe. And here is the rest of the last few minutes of my show for season 1. This is AJ with the Plexi Film Show, WXUT 88.3, Toledo's only alternative.